Hello, everyone, and welcome to Angie Talks TV, where you'll see reality TV show reviews, crime stories, and stories on real life experiences. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hello, everyone, and welcome. In this video, you'll hear a lady tell the story of how her brother-in-law and father-in-law took the life of her husband right in front of her. Now, after you watch this video, please head over to her page and give her a follow. Let's get started.
Okay, now here's the story time behind why my husband was unalived. It was all over his car, a truck at that. Nothing in this world is worth losing your life over, especially not something materialistic. Now, this man right here is my husband's father. This young man right here is my husband's brother. Unfortunately, them two together unalived my husband last year on May the 3rd, 2023, right in front of me. When I say I couldn't believe it, I couldn't believe it. It was not expected. Now, he went to a car shop and picked up my husband's truck without my husband's permission, okay? Them two and my husband used to be together every single day. My husband would go over their house because them two lived together. Well, he lived with him. My husband would go over their house. I would go over their house. They would come over our house. He would use my car every day. The father would use my car sometimes when his car would break down. We were all just so close. So this was not expected. This isn't like this is a long lost dad that he wasn't cool with or anything like this. That's why people are calling it weird, odd, saying that there's no possible way it happened. They're saying that the devil overtook his body. I've heard everything under the sun except people taking accountability that this was just unhinged and sick, to say the least. Now, what you see right here are two people that have no remorse. Not one time have they asked to speak up and say, I'm sorry. Not any time have they said, we don't know why we did it. He's pleading insanity. He's pleading self-defense. Like I said, me and my husband had got up that morning, did a few, parent things, like he took the kids to school. I laid around in the bed. I said I was going to cook breakfast, but I didn't. But obviously he knew that I wasn't going to cook breakfast because he stopped at McDonald's and got him and the kids. My husband did. He stopped at McDonald's and got him and the kids breakfast. So he just knew, oh, yeah, she ain't getting up. She had just cooked. I had just cooked the full dinner the night before. So anyways, after dropping the kids off at school, he came back home. We got in the shower together. We got back out. We talked for a little bit. We played around. We always play fault. So we played around for a little bit. Then we got ready for our interview. We went to our interview. We saw my husband's uncle at our interview. We talked to him a little bit. Everything was cool. He ended up asking my husband what was the timing on getting his vehicle back. Speaking of the truck, because we were in my Charger at the time. So he ended up calling his dad. And so when he called his dad, my husband, he ended up calling his dad. When he called his dad said, you can come get these MF kids. But none of this is going to make sense if I don't go back and tell y'all how we even got here, okay? Because it's about to get really, really crazy. And really, when you really sit back and you think about it, you like, these two men really got together, came up with a plan, and did this to their own blood family member. They did. I seen it with my own eyes. And I didn't even have to say anything because they had cameras inside of their house. So the police have the cameras. They had cameras outside of their house. Their neighbors had cameras outside of their house. There were witnesses outside, like people that work for the water company and the electric company that's here in our city. I don't know. I don't know. Just bear with me though. Okay, so my husband last year, my husband had took his car to his truck to a car shop. He got a loaner car from the man. He drove out, went to go pick up our son from school. When he got down to the track field, the track meet or whatever that my daughter was having, because my daughter was running that day. When he got down, him and his friend, they came together in this loaner car. He came down to the track field. The track field, as soon as he put he gave me my husband in my hand and said that he would be right back. Police, I'm talking about so many police officers came from nowhere. I mean, just everywhere. I meant, like, we hadn't even seen them. They were, like, blending in. I was just walking out the track and field because my daughter had already ran once. So I was walking out the track and field. He was walking in to give me my son, and then he was going to walk back. But police came from everywhere. So everybody around here, I'm talking about hundreds of people, get down on the ground. So everybody got on the ground. But me, I know I ain't did nothing. So are we in a movie? Get on the ground in front of my son? I'm not doing it. And I told them, I'm not getting down on the ground. I have to protect my baby. I grabbed my son and hugged him, turned my back to the police officers, and I told my son, start walking towards your sister, and that's what he did. As he's walking towards, the police said, you can give them to your daughter or whoever she is, but we need to speak with you. I said, what's going on? I talked to them and I said, what's going on? They said, this car that your husband is in has been reported for a robbery that happened days ago. A robbery? He wasn't in this car days ago. He was in his own car days ago. What do you mean? So that happened. He got locked up. My husband's in jail. My husband gets in jail and calls me to tell me which lawyer he want to use this time, because he was always in and out of trouble for like stuff that had to do with his family and just all this different stuff. It was always something with somebody. I'm going to get into that next. So he goes to jail. He calls me from jail. We're talking about the lawyer. He says, just go over to this car shop and go ahead and pick up my car in the morning. And because I don't want him to keep my car over there just sitting, and I don't want anybody to steal my car. I said, okay. I calls the car place and I say, hey, I'm going to pick up the car in the morning. This is, Jacoby's wife. They say, no, you're not. I said, yes, I am. He said, no, you're not. His brother already picked up the car. I just talked to his brother. Now, he was talking about he just picked up the car, but I was thinking the other little brother, because that's something that he would do. And he's a little unhinged too. So I said, you know what? I'm going to call all of them. Called the first little brother that I thought it was originally. He started cracking up laughing, and I was like, what's funny? He was like, man, tell Tef, because I used to call my husband Tef. He said, tell Tef, call me. I said, all right. I got mad and I just hung up because we ain't really got nothing to talk about. I don't really deal with y'all family anyway. But the fact that you're laughing and y'all playing games about where my husband's truck is, I'm not even about to do this with y'all. Talks to my husband, and I tell him what his brother told me. Say he was laughing. The tire shop person told me that one of your brothers picked up your car. But this specifically, your youngest little brother is just cracking up laughing. I don't know what that's about. He said, all right, call him on three-way. I called him on three-way. He told him that this little brother was the one that picked up the car, not him. Okay, so he calls this little brother. This little brother ain't picking up. They saying, so I calls my sister, because I know my sister, she be out doing her thing. So I calls her, I'm like, have you seen him? She says, oh, yeah. He just rode past me. I thought it was, Corey. I said, no, Corey just got locked up. She said, what? She said, well, somebody was flying past me, and I thought it was Corey. She says, I said, right back over there where you was, because I'm living way at this time. I said, drive back over and see if you see that car. She said, I just rode past it and pulled up on it. She says, the brother raised on the window, it was him in the car. I said, okay. Gets back on the phone. Corey, he's blowing me up. If you know anybody in jail, especially somebody that got somebody on the outside and they know that they're going to handle business and he's ready to get out, he's blowing me up back to back. So when he called me back, I told him, this little brother do have the car. My sister just said that she just seen him. He's like, what? Ain't no way. Call him. I calls him again. He answers. Stop calling me. I'm busy. Who? You don't even talk like this. I know. I said, I know it's ain't. Sus, you can call me, but he can't call me. He know what's up. He really don't want me to start snitching on him. Snitching on him about what? What can you snitch on him about? I'm hurt. The floor is open. Tell it all. You feel me? So, I knew we had visits coming up, but I was already telling him, like, I don't know if I'm going to be doing the business, because like I said, I just had got off the phone with his little brother. We had hung up with his little brother. His little brother was saying, like, hey, you don't want me to snitch on you, don't want me to snitch on you, but my husband wouldn't say that. In the mix, before this video right here, before the visit, because this was the visit, we ended up doing it where I could, like on video, where I could do it from home. I could just pay for it and then do it from home. But before this video, I had been bawling my eyes out, because right after the phone call with his brother that one time, my husband called back once, but my cousin called twice. So I was like, let me go ahead, and I wouldn't, because I was still kind of like frustrated with whatever his brother was talking about. So I said, let me not answer his phone call. I answered my little cousin's phone call. She's screaming at home, and I'm like, what is going on? She told me her baby had passed away. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what do you need? Where are you at? I'm coming. She was like, well, I'm gonna leave the hospital and get out of this stuff situation. I want you to come see me tomorrow. I said, okay. So I've been bawling my eyes out. You can't really see the picture up here, but I had like bags under my eyes to where I was like bawling my eyes out and stuff like that. So on this video call, he's like trying to make me laugh and all that, trying to make me forget about what his brother said. At the same time, grieving or not, I'm not forgetting about what your brother just said on the phone just the previous night. But I'm just like, okay, I'm going to just keep it cool. So we smiling and stuff like that. We having a good visit. Everything's going well, okay? Now, this visit did go well. We ended up getting on good terms, you know, smiling, laughing. I didn't bring it back up because I'm like, I got other stuff to worry about. I know that I got to figure out what's going on with my cousin and her I know she's about to be grieving. We're all about to be grieving. You know, we're about to have to be there and surround her with nothing but love. So I was like, you know, we had a good visit and stuff like that. I didn't bring it back up. So a couple of days go by, more like 4 or 5 days go by, and her baby's funeral come. My husband calls me today and like, oh, well, what's this stuff that I'm hearing about you got into it with my mama? I said, got into it with your mama? Now, where'd she come from? That's exactly what I said. I said, where'd she come from? She ain't even got to do with this. He was like, well, I talked to my brothers and they said that my mama had already called my brother. This is his mama, my husband's mama, had called his brother on the daddy side, which like, for what? But had called the brother on the daddy side and was telling him, you can go ahead and keep the car. Just put it up. You ain't got to give it back. Why would you throw a wrench in the game telling him that he can go ahead and keep his car when it's not yours? It's not his. It belongs to my husband. If nothing less, it would belong to me. And if something was to happen to me and him, whatever we own belongs to our kids. Always inserting yourself in the mix, keeping stuff brought up. And this little boy, you got this little boy feeling like what he's doing is okay, and it's not. Because one, it was some stuff that happened in the truck, not the robbery and then, because that was with the loaner car. But it was stuff that happened in the truck from what I'm getting now that we're in court, that he shouldn't even want to be in the truck. It was too dangerous to be in the truck. But okay. I said, okay. So I called the little brother. I said, hey, where you at? He said, I'm riding around. But yeah, I said, yeah, well, I heard what his mama said. He said, yeah, she did tell me that. She told me I could keep the truck. I said, well, you was with him when he bought it, right? He was like, yep. I was like, did she give him any money on it? He was like, nope, but that's his mama, so I'm going to listen to his mama. I said, okay. Hung up on him. Called the daddy. The daddy said, he been cheating on you, so you don't need to be worried about that truck. Just let the little brother keep it because he been cheating on you. I said, okay. This is where we going with this. I'm going to let y'all have it. He was like, but come over and talk to me. I'm going to talk to you face to face. So I went up his house the next morning, which is the day of the funeral. I went up his house the next morning. I pulls right in front of the truck. I see the truck upside. I'm like, oh, okay. So I knocks on the door. He comes outside. First they answer. They take him forever to come outside. I knocked on the door. I said, come outside. I said, you going to give me back the truck? I said, you can take. I said, this truck need to go back in the shop because it is something. It's messed up. And it need to be fully painted. Because he done took it out the shop with half painted blue, half painted black. I said, we need to go in and I need to get these rims off of her. And I'm telling him, like, I need to do this. I need to do that. And the truck got something. And I said, my car's acting funny. But you could use my car like you usually do. Why not? He was like, no. He was like, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and give you but he got like in his waist. But if you know me, I come from the streets. I know I'm not in the streets no more, but I come from the streets. I wasn't scared at all. I'm lion-hearted. Anybody will tell y'all that know me, I'm very lighthearted. So I'm like, I ain't even thinking nothing of it because this is really like my little brother. I ain't thinking nothing of it. I'm just thinking this is a bunch of brothers and family members arguing over something so materialistic. I never seen so many people go through what they were going through about this truck. So I was like, okay. He was like, all right, I'm about to go get the keys. He acted like he was going to get the keys. He jumped inside of the truck. His girlfriend came running outside the truck. I got on heels, okay? I'm looking a dog, baby. I'm about to go to a funeral. I don't get on heels. I wasn't about to chase him. But I said, you know what? He jumped in the truck. He literally ran a whole gate. If you know about elementary schools, most of them got gates around them. He ran over the whole elementary school that's in back of the apartments where him and his daddy lived. He ran that whole gate over trying to get away from me. So my sister had already been on the other side. Remember I told you I talked to my sister about like a days ago and was telling me that he had the truck. Tell me why come he ran over that whole gate and went down and the girl jumped out. She held the gate all the way down so he could smoothly ride over it. I mean, they really gone. I'm in my Charger. So at first I was chasing them. My sister said, no, we got to call the police. This is getting out of control. She calls the police telling them like, come over here. My sister's husband's car had been stolen. Police comes and tells us like, yeah, we heard it was a lot of ruckus going on. It was a fight. So whatever neighbor they called the police, they didn't say we was out there fighting, in which we weren't. Me and him weren't even yelling at each other, getting loud or anything. Like, but neighbors, that's what they do. And I understand that people are scared with everything that's going on now. So I said, okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. So me and him started texting. Me and him was getting smart with each other and everything because I've never had this issue with him. I've been with his brother. At the time he was incarcerated, that he got locked up about my husband, he was 19 years old. You hear me? I've been with his brother for 11 years. Y'all do the math. I used to watch his little boy. He used to watch my son. Their dad used to watch my kids. Like, we were just one little family. We had our own thing going on. We was all hustlers. We was all about getting some money. It was always that. It was never no complication. So I didn't understand what the biggie was about this truck. It's a Jeep Cherokee. And it had rims on it, had music in it, but still, it's just, and it had like a loud, that had that hum thing in it. So I'm like, is this what everybody, is it y'all want to joyride in? Y'all want to be seen? Like, what is it? Because nothing in this world is going to make me beef with none of my siblings. It's not. I'm sorry. I love my siblings and we're super close. So it's not. So I didn't understand where they were all coming from getting over this truck. So, like I said, he thought we was going to do it. It has to be chased. We ended up stop chasing him. We ride. I'm riding or whatever. I'm like, I'm going to leave it alone. The police tells me he's going to handle it. That truck was used where he pulled off on somebody, and it was a bunch of situation going on with this truck now. And it's like my husband, before he got locked up, about this robbery that he so-called committed. They was thinking about the loaner car, but they come to find out, he didn't commit it. They end up getting the clues and all that. But before all of that, his brother was strictly telling us like, oh yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, bro. He was over our house. We had just moved. He was over our house like, I'm proud of you, bro. Whole time you slick hating, you wanting what your brother got. You knowing where your brother come from, the struggle that he come from addiction, from, being abused as a child, always being in and out of jail, from always defending everybody else. I mean, went to prison over somebody else's beef that he helped them with. So what he didn't overcame. And you know how me and him wasn't on good terms a lot of times because I was always against the stuff that my husband was doing. And he would be doing it. I'm telling him, I don't live that lifestyle. I don't want that for me and my kids no more. So, he's finally getting on track. We getting some little money. Everything's going good. But all in all, these people was going off about this truck. All in all, I'm knowing that my husband got a court date coming up. So I'm like, okay, when I go to this court date, if the lawyer ain't saying what I want him to say to the judge, then I'm going to get up and I'm going to say something. And that's exactly what I did. He wasn't saying what I wanted him to say. I got up and I said, excuse me, ma'am. We just took a couple of losses in our family. And can I give my husband a hug? I'm going through a lot. I mean, I was in tears. I said, I'm going through a lot. He's going through a lot. And I said, he didn't commit this robbery. And we already got the proof. We didn't send in the affidavits. I didn't got a lawyer. I said, I'm thousands in now. I said, can I please give my husband a hug? She said, yes. She said, I've never did this. Put your purse down, your jacket down, and your coat down. You can come give him a hug. And I said, okay. So I goes up and I gives him a tight hug. She was like, okay. And then she said, you know what? I'm going to release him today. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Oh my goodness. The God is so good. So we went from that to my husband thinking he's about to get released. Tell me why come when he's about to get released, the his probation officer ended up saying, hey, you'll be getting picked up. We have officers outside waiting on you so that we can take you to the federal holdover because you've been violating your probation. We've spoke to your mom. What? I said, what are you talking about? Because I'm outside waiting to pick him up. I said, what are you talking about? He said, yeah. He said, I'll call you when I get there. Okay, so this is part 3 of why my husband was unalived by his father and his brother. Now, to leave off from where I was, to start from where I left off at, he was at the federal holdover waiting to go to court. He was going to court in a few days, but he just began calling too much. Now it was about this person wanting money, about his car. It was just like he was all over the place. So I'm a real mom, and I ain't got time to be sitting around on no jail calls. Plus, I work real jobs, and I hustle. Like I said, I do a lot of things, so I ain't have time to keep sitting on the phone every day, all day. I did my part as the wife, so now I was just waiting. So he goes to court, and the judge says he's going to be releasing him. So I have my brother pick him up because I'm at the track meet once again. It's another time my daughter's running. Anyways, when he goes to court and he gets released or whatever, now he gets home and he's don't have his iPhone, so the police, that's still in police custody at this time. And so he's texting on his other phone. He had like a little trap phone. So he's profusely texting. I couldn't tell you at the time back then who he was texting. Now I know because I have the phone in my possession. But at the time I couldn't tell you who he was texting. But he's texting all day, every day. I mean, fingers going. I'm just telling him, put the phone down, chill out, don't worry about it. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get the VIN number. We're going to be able to file a police report. We're going to be able to do this. I'm just trying to keep him calm. So anyways, that's not working. And like I said, I didn't know who he was texting. So, I mean, now he's on the phone arguing with different people in his family, different friends. He's asking people to look out for his truck. If you see my truck, call me. I'm going to get my truck back. Now him and his daddy's on the phone arguing. His daddy's calling my phone. Then I blocked a couple of family members that was calling my phone, playing middleman. So I'm just blocking people left and right because they really can't get in touch with him. Whenever the trap phone go dead, he had to wait for his friend to come over there to charge it up. So anyways, the day of, I'm talking about this man is sad and depressed for like 8 days straight because the 9th day is when he got unalived. Let's go to the day of. I know this is the part y'all been waiting on. Like I said, all of it up until the time we went to an interview and his daddy said, come get these MF and keys. I was so done with all of the arguing and all the back and forth, I didn't even say nothing. He told me, I'm about to go to my daddy's house and get my keys. I'm going to jump in the car with my brother. I'm going to meet my other brother. He's talking about the brother who was doing all that cracking up, laughing and stuff. He said, my brother said he's going to meet me over here. So his brother was like, meet me over your daddy's house. We're going to get your car keys. I'm going to go get your car. Because the car wasn't with the car keys. Like the car was like they had hid it somewhere because they didn't want to, they knew he was out now. And I guess they was on the vine line or people talking or whatever saying Corey's looking for them to get his car. So we goes over to the daddy's house. You can see us on video pulling around. We pulling around. Corey goes, he gets out the car. I'm just leaning back because I'm texting on my phone. You know, I got like clients and I'm on my social media. I'm just texting people and stuff like that. I ain't thinking none of it. I'm thinking they about to do the regular organ they do because this is normal for them. Like, they've been doing this for years. I'm just thinking that he's going to get out. They're going to scream in each other's face. They're going to throw the keys at him because they'd actually never even fought. Like, he used to be like, I'm going to do this. His daddy used to be like, I'm going to do this. Nobody ever did nothing. So I'm just like, it's another different day, and I ain't got time for this stuff today. For real, I just want to go home and lay down. Because like I said, I was off this day. So I just leaned back in the car. I'm on the phone. And so he was knocking on the door. Then he starts banging on the door. Still nobody's coming to the door, but his daddy said, come get the MF and keys. Now he starts kicking the door. I literally beep the horn and wave like, yes, come back. Like, come on, get in the car. They not even coming to the door. I guess they playing games. Just come on. He's like, look back at me. And so he like, now we all know that he snatched the doorbell. He yanked the doorbell off like the camera off their door. Okay, so I beats the horn again. Come on. So he turns around towards me, starts walking back towards me. He's not even like paying attention to what's behind him, and I really wasn't either. I'm about to lay back down. All I heard was boom, 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 boom. I mean, loud. His daddy came out the house with that Thule and literally all in the back of his head, all in the back of his back, all in the back. I didn't know what was going on. All I seen was him trying to still run towards me, and he was falling in slow motion. All I seen was his brother come out, hold the door open, and literally help the daddy do what they did. And I ducked down at first. I thought I was in my neck because glass they had out my windows in my car and the side of my car. So I had went out. So I got out the car. And I said, "This is your son." I don't like all that crying stuff. So I said, "This is your son. You're going to unalive your son. This is my husband. Don't do this." They both just looked at me, and the daddy backed up and the son backed up, and they went back in the house as if nothing happened. I immediately ran to him, trying to pick him up. The dead weight was too much for me to pick him up. I'm so small. At this time, I was 98. I'm a little more than that now because I've, healed and grown and been to therapy and stuff. But I was grabbing him, trying to get him up, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to. The man from the electric company ran over to me because when the shots rang out, his tools were all over the place. I guess he was coming to fix something on someone's house or apartment or whatever. The tools were everywhere, but he came running towards me. He said, "What do you need?" I said, "I need your shirt, your belt." I said, "Anything you can give me off of you, sir, please give it to me." I told my husband, I said, "Lay down. I'm about to save your life." It didn't happen that way. It got out of control from there. It got out of control. I had to pause for a second, but we laid him down, me and the man. Some lady came up yelling, "Stop crying, stop crying. You can't let him see you crying." I was like, if you don't back up for real, like we're in the moment and you're in my ear telling me to stop crying, how am I supposed to stop crying? And so some other younger lady came and was like helping me, like trying to hold me and everything. I just started, me and the man from the electric company, we started wrapping my husband up. He tied the belt. I try to do the tourniquets and stuff like that because I've been shot before. So I kind of know like what people did to help me. So, and then I watched videos. I went to a few classes after that happened to me. I was supposed to go to therapy, but I got up and did it on my own. I made it out the first and the second time. So I literally started tying him up. I'm thinking it's his legs. I didn't know. At this time, I did not know that he was in the back of his head. I didn't find that out later, so I got the report, the autopsy or whatever. But he just said, "Tell my kids I love them. Don't never let my kids forget about me." He said, "I want to go be with my granny." Now, if anybody knew my husband, he loved his granny. He was raised by his granny. He respected his granny. All he did all the time, all day, every day, is bring up stories with his granny, talked about his granny. Really didn't play about his granny. They were super close. And so all I did, I was just like, "Don't do this." I was telling him, "Don't do this." I said, "You're going to make it. You're going to make it." I got to tell him I love him, but he didn't get to tell me he loved me. All that he was worried about in that moment was our kids. I picked up the phone. I called his mom. She hung up on me because I don't like you. You don't like me. I don't respect you. You don't respect me. But in this moment, this is about your son. This is about my husband and saving his life. Maybe if he see the two women that he loved, because no matter what they went through, he loved his mama. That's one thing I would never take that away from my husband. Forget everybody else. Even though he didn't receive the same love in return, he did love everybody that didn't love him back. So I'm trying to call her. Edwin work, and I called the brother. I told the brother what was going on. He thinking it's a game. What? Put my brother on the phone. I'm like, the whole family is disturbed. Like, y'all think I'm going to call and play with y'all like this, and I don't even like y'all in real life? Y'all think I'm actually going to call y'all seeing this stuff? I'm crying and everything. I need help. Somebody get out here. The police comes up. They literally came from behind me and grabs me up, snatching me over to the side. Now, at this time, I didn't remember that I had put his clothes in the trunk because I was thinking that I was going to be able to put him in the back seat and take off and take him to the hospital, but it didn't work like that. That was literally one of the worst days of my life, for real. Seeing that was tragic. And still, even then, I still got so much backlash. You know what? The person that had him told me, you did this to my son. You didn't pray for him enough. You weren't good to him enough. What? What are you talking about? That's evil. This is part 4 of why my husband was unalived by his father and his brother. Now, what I forgot to mention is that he did continue to tell me, just leave me. And I was like, leave you? You sound ridiculous. No, we going together. Come on. I kept trying to pick him up, and like I said, the dead weight was a lot. Now, aside of that, I was told later on, and we did see, get some testimony from witnesses that said that the girlfriend of his brother who helped unalive him with the dad was out there picking up shell casings. I didn't get to see all that. Like I said, I was busy trying to save my husband, call family members to try to help save him, waiting on the police. Now, the police did get there pretty soon, but when you're going through something like that, nothing is soon enough if he's not being saved, The police did come up from behind me and grab me and drag me away from his body. He was still breathing when I was right there before they drugged me, because they grabbed me from behind because I was wailing. So they took me and they put the tape up. As soon as they put the tape up, I knew then that he wasn't going home with me that day. I knew then that he wasn't going to the hospital. That was going to be his last resting place until it was time to bury him. And I blooped. I did. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't remember my name. I couldn't remember what I just saw. I completely just wowed out. Now, there was this lady there, not the older woman who was in my ear saying stop crying. It was the other lady. She lived out there. I still don't know your name. I haven't ran into you since it happened. But I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for you calling the people that you called for me, for you holding me, for you hugging me, the words of encouragement. I think about you all the time. I went back over there. I knocked on the door before and nobody came to the door. I want to say that was a lot in that moment, to be alone without my husband, knowing that he was right there, unalived. And seeing the people that we loved. And so many times, people want to portray this street image so they don't help people like me when they're going through stuff like that. If I'm ever in that position again, in which I have been before and I've helped, I will always help. I will always be of assistance, because no woman deserves to bury her husband. No children deserve to bury either parent. No family deserves to grieve in that way over materialistic stuff that can be replaced. If it was really that bad to where y'all wanted the truck or y'all didn't like him, y'all could have stayed away. We could have stayed away. If I knew it was going to get that bad, we would have left it alone. I would have told him to leave it alone. Now, there are rumors being said that he had a weapon on him, and that's not true. We found out in court. We've seen the video of the father telling the son in court, we got to do this. And at first the brother, he was like, no, it's my brother. And the daddy was like, we got to do this. What did I say? Let's do this. And that explains to me in my head now, makes it make sense for why the dad came out first. And then the son, I guess he was like, you see him on camera looking like, should I do it? He's going back and forth in his head, and he goes ahead and do it. That's why I feel like they're giving him less time to plea out. They're pleading him out with less time. Now, aside of all of that and moving forward, now we're at the point where I gotta sit in the police car for 4 hours after sitting next to the body. The police were nice per se compared to the way other people said they'd been treated when I went to therapy and group therapy, and I've heard these horror stories. Of course, I was sad, but I couldn't think straight. There were people saying, we didn't see her on the news going crazy. This ain't no time for me to be trying to put on for no news. I gotta pull myself together, because I got 3 children who didn't already lost a father, and then they just lost their other father who been in their life longer than their biological father was, because he was taken away. So I gotta go outside these gates once they let me go from holding me in the back of the police car, and I gotta explain to them what just took place. This ain't no time for me to scroll around and roll around on the ground. I gotta be a mother. I gotta be strong. I gotta uphold myself, because my kids see me as a queen and they hold me to a higher standard. This ain't no time for me to be trying to put on no show for nobody and wondering if people gonna think I'm hurt enough. Of course I'm hurt. Of course I'm distraught. Of course my heart is broken. But right now I can't think about me. And as a mother, anybody should know, we don't always get the time or find the time to think about ourselves. We gotta put our babies first, and I'm known for that. This ain't no game. All in all, my husband didn't have any biological children, not one. When he came into my life, he told me that he wanted to be a father to my children. I told him, no, it's okay. He said, no, I want to be a father to them. I want to show them what a real man's like. He always loved and respected them, treated them with care, handled them with nothing but the utmost respect. They are all he knew since their father's been gone. They lost their father at 3 and 4 years old. My son was 8 months old when he met my husband. That's all he knew. Pictures, trips, field trips, school events, just everything. The day-to-day life that they needed. Even when he was in prison, he still made time to get on the phone and do 15-minute phone calls with helping my son with homework, helping my daughters to read a book. Like, he really was the GOAT as a parent. So I knew they were going to be devastated, and they were. But for people to sit up there and say, she not hurt enough. The lack of empathy that people felt for me. I mean, there were people coming out the woodwork saying, oh, well, I fought her in 1997. She ain't a good person. I was 7 years old. Oh, I got into her in the 12th grade. I ain't been in high school in 16 years. Oh, well, and on this date, just bringing up all this old stuff. If you don't like me, you jealous or whatever, keep it at that. But the fact that y'all have no empathy for black women when they're hurting is sick. It really is. Of course, the wife is in charge when the husband dies, and vice versa for when the wife dies. So I was in charge. I don't get along with his family don't get along with me. Okay, his aunt called me and said, are you willing to talk to my sister? I said, yes, I am. This was her child. I sure am. She said, okay, well, she's going to unblock you, and then can you give her a call? I said, I sure will. I gave her a call. I said, let me go back. When she first unblocked me, I gave her a call. She put the little boy that was supposed to be in my husband's on the phone. I hung right up. I'm not in the mood for that. My husband just died earlier this day, and you putting this little boy on the phone, trying to get up under my skin or whatever. You got your disdain for me or whatever, to where you really still trying to get up under my skin. This ain't the time. So I hung up. That's when the auntie called me. It was like, she unblocked you. What happened? She said you called her yesterday, but y'all ain't get to talk. Yeah, we didn't get to talk. And I told the auntie what happened. The auntie said, oh, no, it ain't gonna be none of that. Let me give her a call. I said, go right ahead. I'm willing to be the adult in the situation since everybody else want to be childish. So the auntie called me back and said, hey, she's willing to talk to you. She won't do it no more. She ain't mean to do it. I said, okay, I'll talk to her. I called her back. She said, you want to lay everything out on the table? I said, yeah, we can lay out on the table, and then we can go from her. She said, okay. Now, we'll get into that next. Okay, so this is part 5 of why my husband was unalived by his father and his brother. Now, as I stated, I got on the phone with the mom, and she said she wanted to lay it all out. I said that was perfectly fine. I'm all with that. So we laid it out. I let her speak first. Go ahead and speak. You can say whatever you want to say. And she said, I just didn't like the way you treated my son. I didn't like the way you talked to my son. I didn't like the way you try to control him and keep him away from me. And I felt like you were always bragging about stuff that you shouldn't have been bragging on. I feel like you keep him away from his brothers and the rest of our family. and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And I said, respectfully, I felt like you were jealous of me. And I feel like you still are jealous of me, and you were jealous of me and my husband, your son's relationship. Jealous, interrupted me. I gave her the utmost respect. I was quiet while she was talking. I gave her the utmost respect. Jealous. Why could I be jealous? I could never be jealous. I got too much money. I got too much going for myself to be jealous. And I said, even then, people are still jealous of people who have less than them. You could be jealous of the way people love me. You could be jealous of the way your husband treats you compared to how my husband treat me. Because when she was out of the picture, my husband treated me like the queen that I am. I'm talking about top tier. I mean, went to all my events, supported everything that I did. I was supporting him. We didn't get into for arguments, fights. It was not toxic or any of that. He didn't do any cheating and stuff like that. We were on good terms, and he was away from his mama. Now, every time him and his mama was on good terms, or me and him would get into arguments because of the things that his mom and his family did to me and to our relationship. And him not speaking up and standing up, that was a big part of it. Why I used to say, like, nah, I don't feel comfortable with you going to this birthday party, or you going to this concert with your family. I can go to a concert with my family, come back home, drunk and all, and not do nothing with nobody. I go out and cheat. I feel like I had the need to. He would go out and would stay out for a day. Then he would start getting back on drugs. Then he would get wrapped up in something. The next thing you know, he's calling me from jail saying, hey, I need a lawyer. You need a lawyer just from going to a concert? Just from going out to the strip club? You need a lawyer? Like, what are you doing in jail? It was always something, like always. And so I expressed that. Anyways, we got over that. She said, are you willing to, meet me? I said, of course. I said, come over to my sister's house. She said, okay, I'll be over there. Well, instead of keeping it real with me on the phone saying she didn't feel comfortable coming over to my sister's house because I'm known to be violent, she had her middle child, who is the son under my husband, because my husband's her oldest child. She had him give me a call. He gave me a call. He said, hey, sis, He's always been the neutral one in the situation. He'll agree with her because that's his mama, but he never really wanted to get wrapped up. He knows, if nobody in their family know my heart, he do. I've been there for a lot of them. But him, that was literally my baby. I mean, that was my baby. Like, that was my dog. He used to be at my house all the time, come over there, check on me. He could never comment on my posts and talk to me and stuff like that because he was always around his mama. But that boy genuinely loved me. I can honestly say that. And so he's telling me, like, she don't really feel comfortable coming over there. Can you just meet her somewhere? I said, well, let her choose the restaurant. I'm still putting the ball in her court because whatever makes you feel comfortable, because I'm uncomfortable because of the situation, but I'm not uncomfortable because of nobody, especially not you. With all the stuff you did to me, you shouldn't be uncomfortable around me. You should be ready for whatever. I mean, war ready, for real. So I said, okay, I'll meet her. They said, let's meet at Aspen Creek. We met at Aspen Creek. She wouldn't come without him going because she knew that he would be the one to break us up if a fight was to break out. But I never had intentions on fighting her that day, okay? Never had intentions, never had any ill intentions. I was strictly grieving and I needed some help and I needed some guidance and I needed love, if nothing else. All of that is neither here or there. Let's continue. We get to Aspen Creek. Her and her son sat on one side. I sat on the other side. We had a conversation. She was against everything. She said she didn't like, the funeral home that I chose. She didn't like the colors that I chose. She didn't like this. She didn't like that. She didn't like that. If you didn't like the colors, why the day after he got unalived, you went and got the colors that I had already chosen because you knew I was going to keep those colors, which are right here, the purple and white. Now, his favorite color was purple because of his granny. But prior to that, his favorite color was red. So I was like, I could have did red, but I was like, I'm going to just keep it as his newest favorite color. It's been his favorite color since 2011 when his grandmother passed away. So I said, okay, 2012, I'm sorry. So it's been his favorite color since then. So I said, we're going to go ahead and use that. Plus, every time we get ready to get dressed up, he want to wear purple, even though we never really did because it was always out of season or out of the whatever. Anyways, I chose purple, but she had already went and got her feet and her nails and her feet done, which in my mind, my hair is all over my head. Well, my hair is just like it is now. Like when I just took down my hair, I ain't have on nails, no makeup. I'm just plain Jane and some little jogging pants and a little jacket, whatever, because I'm grieving. I ain't thinking about looking cute. I ain't thinking about stuff like that. I'm thinking about my next move in life. Having to bury my husband, I got to put this man in the ground. The man I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. But still, we're not going to go there either. Anyway, she had a problem with everything. So I said, you know what? I made an appointment for, this specific funeral home. let's just go ahead and I'll invite you up to this place and then you can help me pick out everything. She said, okay. She said, did you have life insurance on them? And I said, I told her. I said, you know the answer to that. That's a whole nother story about something that she did. But I said, you know the answer to that. And I said, so what do you want to do? Are you going to help me pay for this? You know her exact words were, yes, I'm going to help you pay for it. She said, whatever it costs, I'll pay for it. I said, you don't even have to do that. We could just go half. I said, it shouldn't be no more, about $15,000, so we could just go half. I had my half of that. But when you talk about paying the whole $15,000 by myself and I got to rebuild my life, and you know I'm not about to be staying back at this same apartment or this townhouse that we got because of the circumstance. I got to go back to where my husband's last resting place was and think about that. That's a whole nother situation in itself as well. So I said, okay, we go ahead and we leave there. They gave me a hug, but I just felt like something was off. As soon as they left, I met up with them the next day. Is when we went to the appointment. We got to the appointment. She said, we was doing the obituary. I was letting her pick out everything that she wanted to because I'm like, okay, she said she's going to pay for half. Go right ahead. Pick out what you want. I'll pick out what I want. In the thing, in the meeting, she's trying to overtalk me. They like, the lady's like, ma'am, so what day did y'all get married? What's his full name? She's like, what's his name? I mean, she's trying to hurry up and beat me as if it's a competition. Girl, I just lost my husband. I'm not trying to beef with you and have no competition with you about no back and forth about, this is your son. Of course you know this information. I'm not here to do that, so I left at the room, had a little cry. She brought people with her. I brought my sister and my mama. She had people outside and inside. And okay, do what you do. I don't care because I know that when I'm ready to go to war, I'm going to win the war. I don't care about this race. I know when that time comes, I know what's up because I know God's favor over me and my children. We're going to make it through that. I was already had tunnel vision just knowing that we were going to make it through. Okay. You know what she did? We got to the obituary part. We started writing the obituary. Telling the lady we got our own. She said, now we could start writing out the newspaper part. You know what she did? She blooped out because I wouldn't put the little boy in the obituary that was supposed to be his son that came back, not his son that she had custody of. She blooped out and said, I'm not paying for nothing. You can pay for it. You bury him. I got the videos. Don't ever call my bluff. Don't ever. I got the video. She started wilding out in the funeral home. I had to leave the funeral home. I said, okay. My sister started recording the videos, actually. And so me and this lady's in there getting into it and stuff like that. I'm ripping her to shreds because I've been too respectful. And really, I should have wowed out on all of y'all a long time ago. Her husband's trying to calm her down. She starts trying to fight her husband in this funeral home. I said, you know what? I done been through too much. Let me leave. I tell my mom and my sister, come on. We walks out. Her and my sister starts having words. I told my sister, be quiet. Now, all my family, they know when I say be quiet, they know I'm already taking too far. So shut up. My family shut up. My sister was like, you right, sis. I'm going to be quiet. So she was quiet. Let's keep it moving. She jumps right online and posts a video of my husband off drugs talking about me when we was into it 2 years prior. Not even some recent stuff. 2 years prior, we had gotten into it. She's on her. She's showing people this video on her Facebook. I posted that video in the last text message. My husband's last text message of his life, of him in this world, was to her. Don't play with me. I got the footage. I got the videos. I got the proof. It was nothing nice. And for him to pass away right after that just tells a whole different story of what everybody else is, the picture that everybody else is painting. Because it ain't nothing nice. I'm going to tell you that. It ain't nothing nice. He died 2.5 hours after he texted her that. It don't sound something to you. And his brother was the one who said meet him there. Okay. So this is part 6 of what happened to my husband and why he was unalived and by his father and his brother. Now a bunch of people are online giving their unwanted, irrelevant opinion. Ain't got a dollar on nothing. So I post where the flowers could go, and then I posted if anybody wants to send anything, and I posted someone's Cash App. I think it was my sister's, because this other sister, not the same sister that was at the funeral home, but another sister. I think I posted hers, and the family got the Cash App shut down, stating that she was going to pay for her son's funeral. She posted a $10,000 check stating she was going to pay for this funeral. But do y'all know I had to go and ask my family to pay for the funeral, and that's what happened? One of his grandmother's sisters gave me $1,500, $1,200. But everyone else come from respecting and loving and being kin to me. The $15,000 funeral, yes. Yes. And I still love all the stuff that his mom had picked out up there and all of that stuff. But she didn't give me a penny on anything. She said she didn't want to put the money in my hand. You could have called the funeral home like everybody else did, because I didn't want to be dealing with no money or nothing. I didn't want to deal with nothing. I didn't even want to get up out of bed, honestly. I didn't want to get dressed that day. I didn't want it to be real. So that's not an excuse for why you didn't do right by your oldest son, because you didn't do right about him in life and you didn't do right by him now that he's unalived. Okay, I'll wait, but let's go back before we get to the funeral being paid for, because I'm struggling to pay for it. I'm having to call all these different people, in which I know people will come through for me because I've did so much for people, and people know my heart, and people knew his heart. People love both of us. But now, why would we even be asking people if you got all this money that you always speaking of? The next morning, after this funeral home incident, I get a phone call. I'm answering that. I don't usually answer phone calls of numbers I don't know. I answer the phone call. I'm way out of town looking for my husband something to wear, because he's about to have to get buried. I'm not even thinking about her no more. I'm like, I'm just going to even stop talking to her completely. I'm not even going to argue with her back and forth, because we already did it yesterday. I'm not going to do it again today. Cool. It's a judge. The judge says hello and introduces herself and says, I need you in my courtroom by 9 a.m. I said, baby, I am out of town. Now, I can get back in town by about 3 hours, and then we can go from there. And I said, but what is this about? Oh, well, I was told that your baby daddy, and this is where that part 1 came from. I was told that your baby daddy unalived your husband. So we need you in here because we're having some issues. And I was also told that you weren't really married to this man, and we might need to take the funeral from out of your hands. I started crying. You're low, but you didn't went to HELL to do somebody like this. I would never in my life do somebody like this. This is disgusting. But everybody's like, it's coming from love because she's a godly woman. If my husband was here, if he would have made it through, and whatever I would have said, he would have agreed with me. He always chose me over them. That's a whole nother. Always chose me and my children over them, over her especially. Always. It was never, I'm just gonna stay with my mama. It was never that, unless I said, you gotta stay with your mama. I'm sick of his back and forth. If I said that, he would still be crying on the phone every day. Please let me come home. I'm so sorry. But it was always me. Especially when he seen that I was serious on situations. Okay, I goes to court. Y'all know this lady told the judge. The judge said I need to bring a marriage certificate. And if I didn't have it, I need to go get one. I need to go down to Frankfurt and get it. Like I said, I'm already out of town, so how am I about to even go do XYZ? So I called somebody else. They end up telling me, like, this is what you need to do. Tell me to go across from the courthouse and go to the actual building and get the papers from the other, like, little courthouse where they keep the record keeping and all of that. So I went over there. I got the paperwork. I brought it to the judge. The judge told her, she was screaming, my son's going to find another wife. My son's going to find another wife. He will not be with you. Duh. He's been unalived by his father and his brother listening to you to keep a car that made my husband depressed and wanting it back, and now they arguing about a car that I know the brother would have gave back. Had you not put it in his head it was okay to keep it because that's his brother. Prior to us even going in the courtroom, her brother grabbed her hand and said, please don't do this to her. Don't do this. He did. Her big brother. He said, don't do this to her. She said, let me go. Let me go. I'm going in her. I'm going to get my son's body. Me and my family was just sitting over to the side. Now, anybody in the city that knows my family, they know we're deep. My family love me to pieces. My friends love me to pieces. People I don't even know love me to pieces because they've heard about the work I did. Well, I got paid for it or not got paid for it. I did a lot of stuff for the city of Louisville. A lot. Me and my kids randomly go on Sundays to feed the homeless off our own dime. Under the Vedox. A lot of the homeless people around here know us. When it came time to protesting, when it comes time for anybody's needing something that they don't got for their kids, people reach out to me and I make it happen one way or another. I always do. Well, I used to. Before all of this stuff started going on, I started seeing people's true colors and how people was happy when I was there at my rock bottom when I was them. So I don't really deal with people like I used to. But let's go back to this story. We goes in the courtroom, the judge talks, she talks, I talk. She got this big babble about this big, waving it around in the air, talking crazy, shouting down stuff, telling people that they gonna get it, they gonna get it. The judge was like, hey, the judge said, she's keeping the body. I got the paperwork. She's keeping the body. And she said, can she come to the funeral? I said, all of them can come to the funeral. I'm not saying nobody can come to the funeral. I'm not saying she can't help me bury him. I'm saying we can either do it together or I'm doing it alone. Either way it go. She told the judge, oh, well, let her have a funeral and I have a funeral. The judge said, even if you have it, she's keeping the body. So it will be her decision on what she do. I said, I'm keeping the body. You'd have been this nasty to bring me to court. I'm not giving up that body to nobody. I'm keeping the body and I'm going to make it happen. Not one to call my brothers, not one to call my sisters, not one to call my cousins. And I didn't. They all came to me and said, what do you need? I told them money, and they gave it to me to make it happen for my husband. I thank my family and my friends dearly. I thank them so much. I'm so grateful. But what I would not do is sit back and let somebody sit there and say that my baby daddy unalived my husband, and that's not the truth. This is what it all boils down to, and that's what brought us here now. I still get messed with. I still get bothered. I still get talked about. I still get laughed at. I still got people saying that they're going to fight me, which I done seen plenty of them, and they don't say nothing. They don't do nothing because people seeing the real, and people see that I did not say that this lady cannot come to her son's funeral. I didn't say she couldn't help me bury him, and my baby daddy did not do that to my husband. It just didn't happen. It's a lie. Because what it is, that the guilty conscience of how she really treated her son in life is eating her alive. Them pictures that I get to post and them videos and beautiful pictures and them beautiful videos on my Instagram and my Facebook is making her skin crawl because that jealousy is something she can't get rid of. Now, she ended up having her own funeral and I had mine. I had the body. Here's the casket. Here's the people taking them out. So her family came to my funeral and then went to her funeral. And it was a big headache about that because she kept calling these different churches, telling them, oh, it's going to be a shooting. It's her doing this. It's going to be a shooting. There's going to be some stuff that go down. So you need to make sure that y'all don't allow this girl to have his funeral there. When all the churches were reaching out to me first, like people that worked at the church saying, hey, you can have it at my church, and you can have it in my church, you can have it in my church. Then when I get to calling them, they're like, well, you can't have it because we heard it was going to be a shooting, the family's feuding, and da-da-da-da-da-da. But all in all, that's my story. Me and my kids have been healing. I've moved on. It was to death do us part, and I did my part until his untimely death. And me and my kids are healing in therapy. My kids are doing great. I'm doing great. I've started a new career. I'm working on so many certifications within this career. It's crazy. And I'm excelling at what I'm doing. And that's that.
Louisville man is behind bars for killing his son. 52-year-old Ja'Cory Harris was arrested early this morning in Newport, Kentucky. That's near Cincinnati. Police say he shot Ja'Cory Harris Jr. last week in the parking lot of an apartment complex behind Jacob Elementary. The elder Harris faces murder and a weapons charge. He's scheduled to appear in court later this month.
As I stated, call my bluff if I'm saying anything wrong, but this is part 7. Yes, the mom did talk to the dad on the crime scene, over the phone. The dad called the mom's phone, and she tried to hand the phone to the police and say, tell the police what happened. So, yes, they did talk. The sister was the one who basically told on the daddy. It's all in paperwork. They've mentioned it multiple times in court. She said, if he did this to my brother, I'm going to turn him in. So them two talked, and she called me back, and she said, I'm about to turn my daddy in. She said, you can't do that to my brother and get away with it. She said, I'm telling right away. She called the police, and she told them what happened. They took her statement, and she's now a part of the investigation. She became a part of the investigation that went on behind my husband's untimely death. Now, like I've stated, I did say that I don't know what they actually talked about. I don't know what anyone could say to anyone that share a child, and one took away the other child. One took away the child that they share together. I don't know, because me and my baby daddy, I know he would have been running for his life. I know if I would have did that to one of our kids, I would have been running for my life. But that's us as parents. Everybody don't parent like us. We're still considered the new generation per se, so I don't know. But then again, I can't compare me and my baby daddy to nobody else's situation because we were different. We didn't play about our kids, and I still don't play about our kids even though he's gone. So that's that. It's just not going to happen. Of course, the world makes everything different, especially when you have social media available at the hands of people who do nothing but start trouble and lie. Now, these children in the photos are my children. They are the same children. Him up here is their biological father, and him down here, he's their stepfather because I married him. Now, both of them have been unalived. Y'all got that part right. Both of them were in these children's lives. Y'all have that right. Now, what I have wrong is that he unalived him. He was unalived in 2012, and he was unalived in 2023. He had no clue about who he was, and because he was very popular, everyone knew him, so he did know him, but they weren't friends and they did not be. I was taken to court back in 2023, a couple of days after his passing, over it being said that he unalived him, in which we come to find out that was a lie. And everyone in our city, which is Louisville, they know that he been gone for 12 odd years or whatever. Now, if y'all want to know what happened to him, because this is the story, this is what's bringing most of you to my page and finding me through Instagram when y'all see me comment on different little posts and stuff like that, then he's what's drawing y'all to me. We'll get back to that in just a second. Both stories have been on the news, but his story is what's shocking everyone and what happened to him. It's not him, and they are not the same person. I know a lot of people are commenting on pictures like, well, if your husband been gone since 2012, how's your husband gone in 2023? Did you get married twice? Did you do this? Did you do that? All of this different stuff that y'all get mixed up because of some of the people that are commenting. Those are spam comments, and those are people that don't even know the story or even know us. So that's kind of what's taking place that's making y'all come over here, I guess, to now TikTok. So I'm posting it on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram so that y'all know these are two different stories. Now, his story is still in the news because they were going to go to trial, but they're being offered deals. So that's kind of what's going on with him. And then his family don't bother me. His family does. It's a difference. Y'all just mixing up too many things.
Okay, and that's the end of the video. Wow, she has definitely gone through a lot, from having her kid's father unalived, then her husband, and at the hands of his father and his brother. That's a lot. And on top of that, she herself has been shot before, and I think I heard her say more than once. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think of the story that was shared in this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.